We're gonna make mason jars today. So when you're thinking about drawing a mason jar, we wanna start thinking about its most basic shape and then turn it into its form. Okay, so what we're gonna do is start from the top and we're gonna work our way down. When we look at the mason jar, we can think of the top of it, the basic shape, is going to be an oval or an ellipse. Okay, so if you're looking from above, an ellipse would be a circle from above, the shape of the jar. But when you're looking at it from the side, you're actually just seeing a portion of it. Okay, so you're going to sketch in your first shape as an ellipse. The next shape we're going to add in is another ellipse. Now what I like you to do is you're going to overlap the exact same size, which might take you a little while to get. So it's going to look like a really stretched out letter 8. Okay, that overlaps. Eventually we'll end up erasing part of this, but for now we're going to keep it. Okay, now we're going to skip down here, and while we're drawing our ellipses, we're going to need one more toward the bottom, which will be the base of our jar. So you want to imagine that the jar is going to go in here, so the sides of our ellipses are going to match up to be about the same. It's a little harder when they're further away from each other, but just try your best to get them to be about the same width. Okay. So when I'm thinking about my mason jar, I'm trying to make a cylinder. The basic shape we're going to be making is going to be a rectangle. So if I was going to draw in my rectangle, I'm going to lightly connect my two sides here and here. And this is where you'll end up making some revisions if you drew a little too big. And then, of course, it would come in at the top as well, here and here. So you can probably start to see the form that we're creating. When artists start drawing, you start with the basic shapes, and then once you start connecting those shapes, they start to become forms. So now it's time to do a little refining. We're going to take out this line right here. So with your eraser, you can erase out just the back edge, the middle part of that number 8. Because our jar is not going to be see-through in the lid area. Okay, and then down here, I'm just going to erase out my little lines that extend beyond the jar. Now this jar is a pretty plain jar. If we're looking more at the mason jars, we have a little extra detail that we can take that moment and add in. So I'm just gonna erase out some of my extra sketch lines so I don't confuse you. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is just kind of refine the shape here a little bit. In a mason jar lid, a lot of times the lid has a curved little notch taken out of it. So on both sides, I'm going to kind of create this little curve and erase out the straight line. If you wanted to create a mason jar that had a bit of a curve at the top, a little more shapely, all you need to do is start at the base of the lid, curve it out just a little bit, and then bring a straight line down. At the bottom, curve it in toward the bottom to meet up with the front. You can erase out your first line. Same thing on the other side. Just take your time to try to make them even. Then curve it in.